Seafood Express, located at 500 East McNeese Street in Lake Charles. Now, here's your host, Jim Gazzolo.
Hey, welcome back to PokeCast, the final one before Thanksgiving. What do you think about that? We will not have one next week, just a reminder. So this is your feast or famine, whichever it is. Hey, we'll try to give you something to chew on for the week. Those are my bad puns for the week. Thank you. From Mr. Bill's, of course, and in 92.9 The Lake. Don't forget this Friday at noon, you can start hearing all Christmas until Christmas. The big thing is this will be the third year where I picked the first song, so you want to listen right at noon, I say. A lot of things to talk about tonight. First of all, remember football's final game is at Lamar at 3 p.m. You can watch it here at Mr. Bill's if you want, if you can't make it over there. The women play at 1 o'clock. Over in the arena, they play LSU Alexandria, coming off a good start and a big win against, we'll talk a little bit about it, but a big win against Tarleton State, a really grinded out game. So they're off to a good start. Also, men will start playing in the Cayman Islands on Sunday against a very good George Washington team who tonight goes in at starting at 4-0, could be 5-0 by then. That game is at 4 o'clock. They play at 4 o'clock on Sunday, 6:30 on Monday, back at 4:30 on Tuesday. All those games can be watched on Flow College TV. That is a streaming site. We will have that for you in the newspaper, that site, but it is the same site that the games were on last year, essentially. Link is on the website already. And the women will then go to their island retreat for 3 days, and they will play West Virginia. How many West Virginia players will be able to play? We'll find out.
Hopefully it's 5.
Hopefully it's just 5. And that's on 12:30 on Monday. That's also on Flow College. And then Wednesday, either 12:30, we hope, or 10 a.m. Right now with us to tell us all about that is KJ Lee, Keith Lee. Now, I'm going to Kenneth Lee, however you want to do this. I want to get into this thing about your name.
Yes, sir.
KJ, you're Kenneth Lee Jr.
Yes, sir.
But you go by KJ.
Yes, sir.
So I got confused as to what the J stands for, and then they tell me the J is just junior. Is that true?
Yeah, the J is for junior. Yes, sir.
Oh, that's a little confusing to me. So there I was thinking you had this wild nickname, and no, it's just junior.
You know, Keith Lee is the foodie. You know, he's making plenty of money.
I know he is. So that's why I was giving that. Okay, lots of things. You are known as the defensive coordinator, essentially.
Yes, sir.
But the real question I have for you is this. Is it true that when Ayla Gazzardo came over here, you were about to be promoted as the Southeastern coach, and Schroyer stole you as well?
That's true. You know, he can sell the water to a well.
So that's an amazing story because, to me, it would be a dream job, I would think, to get your first head coaching job. It's the opportunity you've been looking for, and this guy just comes in and says what to you? How does he convince you to do that?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, Jim. It was more like a double team. You know, Ayla's short and Heath is tall, and Ayla was basically punching me in the gut while Heath would hit me in the head, and Heath was basically saying, hey, this is a no-brainer. Like, so now once I, prayed to the man upstairs and talked to Ayla, talked to my family, and when Heath called, he basically, said everything that I needed to hear. So it was an easy process.
Well, there's absolutely no question why he's not liked at Southeastern. He takes 2 coaches in one shot.
2 for 1, huh?
That's pretty rough to do to him. All right, so let's get into this defensive coordinator, because that sounds almost football-ish.
Yes, sir.
But the defense is really what runs this basketball team. When you're not shooting like the other night, you can always rely on your defense. I've seen you at practice. You're intense.
I'm pretty intense, man. I'm pretty passionate, competitive. My family is very competitive, my mom and dad. But yeah, no doubt. I mean, on the defensive end, you have to be physical. You have to be able to compete. And then when you go on the road, man, in college Division I, to win on the road is tough. I don't care who you playing against. To go on the road and win, you got to be physical. You got to be tough. You got to do the little things, and that's us.
If you have any questions for Coach, don't forget Lexi is out there roaming the bar area. So if you have any questions at all, okay, so let's get into that game at Tarleton, because that kind of is what I expected to see from her team, especially on the defensive side. Offensively, you missed some shots that I think you'll make later in the year. But defensively, you were playing against a really big team, and you were able to pressure them enough to where they never really got into their flow of the offense. You guys almost have to win the whole 90 feet, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's the goal. When we get off the bus, we're picking up 94 feet. So that's the goal. They got to make great decisions for 40 minutes. That's hard to do. I don't care if it's men or women. If you're pressing a basketball for 40 minutes, that's they have to make great decisions for 40 minutes. It's not a lot of teams that can do that. I don't care if it's P4, mid-major. A lot of teams can't make great decisions for 40 minutes.
So you guys do want to wear them down.
Oh, yes, sir.
That's the big thing.
Yeah, we try.
Okay,
to
now you were 8 years with Ayla at Southeastern.
Yes, sir.
What made you say I need more of that? Because after like 3 months, she was already all over me. I wanted help.
You know, Ayla want to have her cake and eat it too.
She was rough to me. But what do you like about the kind of I guess the transition here, but more importantly, how you work with her?
Oh, man, I'll be honest with you. It's more like family. After our first few years, me and Ayla, we didn't grow, man. We started this thing with no kids. Now we both have kids. So it's bigger than basketball when it comes to that. And so it's a family environment, man. So I can't explain it, but me and her, we've been together for 8+ years now, and, we're going to see how long we can do it.
And you guys obviously built something over there.
Yes, sir.
That was really impressive. What's it like to already have the blueprint for it, now just try to see if you can do it again?
I'll be honest with you, Jim. It's not trying. We're going to do it. It's just a matter. Yeah, we're going to do it. Yeah. It's not trying. We're going to do it. And y'all see a little bit of it versus Tarleton. Going on the road, that's a Southland caliber Sunbelt team. So go on the road and beat them and hold them to 47. We're capable of doing that night in and night out on the defensive end. So, but now we're going to get it done. It's just a matter of getting the offense together, getting the kids to gel. We got a couple young kids, freshmen and sophomores that we're dependent on. Saw some of the seniors step up last night. AP right now, she's very efficient from the field goal percentage and her 3-point percentage. But it's just a matter of time when the offense, get it together, and then, it's definitely going to be hard for the opposing team because we're going to defend every night.
Well, we have a question for you right off the bat, Lexi.
I'm here with Mr. Butch.
Why are you laughing at me?
Because I don't know what you're about to
No, how you liking it here so far?
Oh, I love it. I tell you what, great support from the administration to the fans. Love it, for sure.
And the other thing is, I've been watching your practice, watch you play. Everything you do makes sense.
There you go.
Mr. Bush.
Did he give you any pickles or any fudge?
Yo, he brings things for the girls all the time.
How about for you?
We have some greedy girls.
Have some fudge. Fudge is good.
I got you.
When we come back, we'll have more with Kenneth Lee or KJ Lee.
Yes, sir.
After this on PokeCast.
To our 14,000 customers who already have Value Shield and have been involved in an accident, the results have been amazing. With Value Shield, some customers receive $10,000 towards the purchase of a new vehicle, many getting into an even more expensive automobile with lower payments. And now with the purchase of a new or used vehicle, you'll receive a $10,000 Value Shield.
We're back at, either Mr. Bill's or my prom my senior year. I can't tell what it is. With ABBA. There you go. Thank you, Matt. Always nice to have the dancing queen. Always good. All right, we have several questions for you that come from people that want to know about holiday stuff.
All right.
So, you have to pick one item never to have at Thanksgiving again. What would it be to eat?
Probably black eyed peas.
Never have them again?
Never.
All right. One item you have to have, your go-to item.
Oh, dressing for sure.
Dressing?
Yes, sir.
And when do you think it's appropriate to put up Christmas lights?
Definitely after Thanksgiving.
All right. There you go. That's the first set of questions for you. We're going to ask everybody that tonight. All right. So I want to get into this. Your schedule is interesting.
Yeah.
You only play 2 home games. That's a little rough.
Yeah.
Neither one of them is against Division I.
Right.
But when you do play Division I, you're going to Alabama.
Yes, sir.
You're playing West Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
You might play Ohio State next.
Oh, yeah.
Then you fly to Utah. You kind of got the whole range of everything going on. What do you see about that? And at Alabama, you guys played really well, especially the first half.
Oh, yes, sir.
What did you take from that game?
Alabama, it just showed that what type of team we are. Doesn't matter how big the team is. As long as we're the most physical team, we can be effective. So going into that game, it just showed you that we can play. That we can play with anybody. No, it doesn't matter the team. And, I mean, we played Alabama in the past. I mean, we held them to 55 last time. So, going into Tuscaloosa wasn't shocked or anything. Wasn't scared or anything. So we're just showing where we at on the measuring stick.
No, you took it right to him, in fact, to start with. One thing is, Lexi Alexander has to play a lot. She's not really a center. But she's going up against a lot of centers. I would imagine keeping her out of foul trouble and keeping her in the game is one of the big things that concern you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man, Lexi comes a long way. She didn't take not one charge last year. This year she's already took several charges. So just her being, tougher than she was last year is big for us. And, as we play more games, she will learn, to stay out of foul trouble.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little different position for her, too, especially with 2 of the 3 teams you've already played have big.
Yes, sir, no doubt.
Really big. I mean, it's 6'6" and 6'5", so you don't see that every day. Okay, another thing is that's interesting is when you guys went to, or you're going to the island now to play 2 games, you guys got invited to that.
Yes, sir.
Invited a little late because there was an opening. That shows that your brand, you have to feel good about your brand then, that people look to you to say we can play in these games.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, you got a lot of eyes who's watching, just say Ayla's, her coaching, what she's done, what we've done at Southeastern. Then, we all coming over here. So, no doubt, they know we're going to put out a good product. So, no doubt, we should get the invite.
What does that say kind of for what you guys can do and have the opportunity to do? Because getting that brand, getting those invitations really is a huge, and I know you do a lot with recruiting. That's a huge recruiting boost to say we're going to go play here, we're going to go play there, we're going to go play these people.
Oh yes, no doubt. I mean, even the players we have on our team now it was big for them. And then just to tell the recruits that we got signed and tell them that hey, we're going to the Bahamas to play West Virginia, who's a top 25 team, and then a possible Belmont, who's in the mid-major polls, and Ohio State. So just to tell them that, it's big on recruiting. And
the West Virginia game is interesting because they probably will scatter, I think, those suspensions some. They're going to lose some people for 2 games.
Yeah, they are. 2 games. We're the second game, folks. Yeah.
So, did you watch that? Did you have to watch that?
Yes, sir. I watched some of it. I have actually gonna dial into the next couple of days because getting ready, had to break down Tarleton, then break down LSUA, and now gonna be ready for West Virginia these next couple of days.
The Tarleton game is one thing, but going to Alabama, an Alabama game in that setting, unlike men's basketball where you get to the NCAA tournament and you don't face somebody on their home court usually.
Right.
Women, you do.
Oh, yes, sir.
Your first round, you're going to face somebody who's going to be a home team probably,
yes.
no matter what your seed is, unless you get in the top 8.
Right.
What does that do, and kind of does that prepare you for the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, it does prepare you, but I'm going to tell you this, Jim. Don't nothing to prepare you for what we did a couple years ago and playing in front of 15,000 in Iowa, Caitlin Clark. I don't care what, we played against LSU the same year they won a Natty, and I think they had like 11,000 when we went to the PMAC, and that didn't prepare us for Iowa.
That was a unique couple of years, I think, at the University of Iowa.
Yeah.
Okay, the other day I go into practice, you're screaming and yelling and everything, and there's Christmas music on in the background.
Yeah, Jim.
Now, how how do you continue to concentrate when I think it was Mariah Carey was on, and you're sitting there trying to explain defense and get them to get going. Now you've got to fight that whole battle.
Yeah, with coaching girls, it's give and take, Jim. So you got to play the game.
That wasn't your idea, I take it.
No, that wasn't my idea.
So where does she come up with the idea of Christmas music?
At the beginning of the practice, we're doing a lot of fundamentals as far as dribbling, laying up the basketball. So just to get them going with some good music. And a lot of times, whatever the players want to play during that time at the beginning of practice, we let them play it.
When you get into this time of year, it's a weird time because you have a week off, then you go in and play, then you'll play 3 or 4 games, then you have another couple of weeks off. Then all of a sudden you're in conference pretty early this year.
Yes, sir.
Compared to the last few years. Have you guys had to adjust kind of your thoughts on that or kind of your preparation for the season with the conference starting so early?
A little bit. I think the confusion come in when you look at some other people's schedule where they'll play a couple conference games and then play a non-conference game. I think that can get a little bit confusing. With us, we don't have any other games after that, so I think we can lock in. So we'll have the 12th and the 15th, then we'll get a long break, and then we can get the lock back in after Christmas break.
How tough are your practices? Because I've seen some pretty tough. I see a lot of kids on the floor during your practices.
Yeah.
How tough are they?
They're pretty tough. We want to make practice harder than the game. We got the practice guys. They do a great job. The practice players we have, and so like going against Alabama, going against those other teams, we're going against guys every day, and they're pretty physical. So if we can compete at a high level versus those boys, and we play against girls, we should be fine.
Yeah, I want to ask you that because this is the first time I can remember here. I've seen it at other schools, but here where there are boys playing against the girls on that. What do you get out of that? What do you like about that? Because obviously there's physicality involved, but what else do you get out of that?
Guys are genetically, they're faster, they're more athletic. So we're going against speed, we're going against athleticism, we're going against physicality every day that are way better than a female. So if they're going against that, like I said, every day, then we go against Alabama, they're 6'6", but it doesn't faze us because we're seeing this every day. So
will you take them on trips and that?
Yes, sir, we do. Matter of fact, that we brought them to Tarleton. They practiced with the girls the night before, got them ready so that they're a crucial part to why we won that game in Tarleton.
Back to the Tarleton game, not a pretty game offensively.
Nah, it was ugly.
But how do you keep focused on the defense that much, especially the fourth quarter? They didn't score for almost the first 4 minutes, and that really got you back in the game. That gave you the lead.
Yes, sir.
What did you do differently, and how much adjustments do you guys do during a game?
We do. We do some adjustments. If you noticed, we messed up some rotation when we was trapping the ball screen. And then late in the second half, instead of trapping it, we hedged it. And then you can just tell Tarleton coach, he was ready for the trap in the second half, but we started hedging it and stunting, and then they couldn't adjust. So they didn't have any they couldn't throw the ball to the weak side as easy as they was when we was trapping.
And we have a question for you from Lexi.
Hey, Coach. So my biggest problem with basketball is always the last 3 minutes when it's just foul outs. How do you feel about that?
So you saying when the last 3 minutes when people are fouling out?
When it's just fouls and then it's just shoot for 2 and then hope to get 3. It just drags out the game much longer.
It does. One thing we did though, I tell you, for Tarleton, we wasn't in foul trouble like we was in the previous games versus Alabama. Versus Tarleton, we only had one person that was in foul trouble, which was Lexi, and we had one foul to give with under 3 minutes, and we gave it on the baseline when they almost probably could have scored the basketball. So versus Tarleton, we did a good job playing without fouling for sure. But I get what you're saying. Late fouls when it can drag the game and slow the game. Versus Tarleton, it didn't hurt us.
So last year during the tournament, when the tournament was here.
Yes, sir.
Were you looking around the place? Did you know what was coming? Did you hear the rumors? Or
of course, you hear this, you hear that. But the whole game, is the win, and never know get another opportunity somewhere else. But nah, Ayla, Ayla. So I got to keep Ayla focused. Ayla, little AD. She already done told y'all. So she'll lose a little focus here and there. But nah, of course we've been to McNeese. We've seen the facility a ton. It's a great facility. So when the opportunity came, when Ayla finally made the decision to come, we knew it was a great decision.
You weren't looking around saying, I could sit in that chair. I'd be all right.
I think what you thought about when Heath was sitting across.
I had to go sit next to him and hear what he was doing. I thought that was I think I nudged him and said I think it's pretty obvious now. I tried to tell her that that's the first time I'd ever gone into a women's press conference where a McNeese team wasn't playing. So
Yeah.
I wanted to see how she acted in that. Kenneth Lee's been our guest for the first segment here, or KJ, or as we know now, J is for Junior. When we come back, we're going to talk men's basketball with Robbie Coker after this on the PokeCast. No ABBA? We got no ABBA that time. Jim Gazzola back on PokeCast from Mr. Bills and on 92.9 The Lake, where Christmas until Christmas starts at noon on Friday. Don't forget to listen. Also, McNeese basketball returns to action after a 3-1 start. They play in the Cayman Islands against George Washington, who is a really good mid-major program. It's a multi-team event, as they call it, where you'll play 3 games in 3 days against 3 separate teams. All 3, by the way, are mid-major, so it's a really good thing to see where they stand in the country in mid-majors, all from different parts of the country. Right now, we're going to be joined by assistant men's basketball coach Robbie Coker, who is in charge of the offense. I was told you guys came here as a defensive coaching staff. You lead the nation in scoring.
Keep saying that, Jim, as loud as you
103.
can. I hope Bill's listening in the back there. Make sure you say that loud.
Do you get all the credit for that?
Not at all. I don't think, was I getting the credit when we were going 4-26 and scrambling from the three-point line, Jim? I think our schedule probably obviously helps our scoring average, and I think obviously recruiting. I think Bill said it adamantly several times. We're going to coach defense. We're going to recruit offense. And our guys obviously have put their talent on display, and then their unselfishness has made us very elite on the offensive end.
Yeah, the one thing is, what stunned me was going into this week, you're number 2, going into Monday. And you were behind Will Wade in North Carolina State.
Yeah.
And I never would have thought Will Wade would lead the country in scoring. Technical fouls, it seems like, perhaps, but not scoring.
No question. We had a group chat going. It was pretty good. I gave Bill and Will schedule and credit for us leading the country in scoring. And then, obviously, both those guys, both our teams are set up very similar. Great players, a lot of freedom on offense, give the guys confidence and turn them loose. And I think both of us have great players, and both teams are playing well together right now.
Don't forget, Lexi, if you have any questions, ask her. She'll be happy to ask the coach for you. Okay, I got to get these questions out of the way. Number 1 item you never want to have on your Thanksgiving dinner again, if you could.
I'm going to miss Thanksgiving this year. First time I missed my family's in about 10 years, Jim. I'm going to say my Aunt Becky's slaw. I'm gonna let the slaw slide.
He was specific when you called somebody out for it.
I love my
It's a little rough.
Slaw's got to go.
And one item that's your go-to?
It's always my mom's dressing.
All right. And when is the earliest you want to see Christmas decorations up in your house?
Well, we had them up on Veterans Day this year, thanks to Southwest Louisiana culture. But normally it used to be Iron Bowl Saturday.
Okay.
So we're a little early this year, Jim.
Never heard it that early. Okay, getting into this, you're 3-1. You've had the one mid-major game at Santa Clara that kind of showed what you need to work on. Coach says rebounding, defense, rebounding. What do you think you need as offensively? Where do you think you guys stand, though, right now as a team?
Yeah, let's don't make this offense defense. I think in basketball, you don't sub-11 you guys on the floor. Offense and defense go together. Our offense is better when we get stops and we're playing in transition. Our defense is better when we score the ball and we get to set our defense up. So, it goes hand in hand. Offensively, I thought at Santa Clara, it kind of got away from us there about a 4-minute stretch in the first half, and then we started the second half and we took some hard shots. I think this group needs to understand how talented we are and that we don't have to take a hard shot early in the shot clock. We obviously want to play with great pace and great space, and we want to really push the ball and transition and try to get the defense behind and score in an advantageous situation. But once the defense is set, we need to run an action or really play together and share the ball to create easy scoring opportunities. We've got guys that can make hard shots, but if we're going to shoot a hard shot, we want it late in the shot clock.
The one thing is with you guys, a lot of assists on your plays. You really share the basketball. That's kind of a culture of a team. It also shows they get along a little bit. What does that kind of do for this team? Because that's the one thing that stood out is even in blowout games, you're 19, 20 assists compared to 25 shots made. That's an unbelievable percentage.
Yeah, that's a great stat for coaches. We love that. Obviously we all want our teams to be unselfish and play together, and assists usually are the best metric for that. I think these guys trust each other's work. I do think even since June, I think we've had very little drama. I do think these guys like each other and they pull for one another. It's often hard because, if that guy's playing good, sometimes your minutes are less. So you have to fight yourself. And in today's world, we're all selfish people. I think that's a human nature. So I do think our guys have done a great job of really valuing the big name on the front of the chest to sound cliche-ish and putting the team first and really trying to get the best shot for McNeese, not necessarily for one another.
Have you ever had a guy scoring at a pace of 54 points a game if he played all 40 minutes?
I don't think so. I think I know who you're referring to. It's a crazy stat. Very, very efficient from the floor.
Yeah, I think he's shooting 73% from the floor, even with his, I think he's only 2 for 9 in threes, but everything else, he seems to make everything else. Free throws, 29.
He's a super talented individual. Obviously, we're talking about Larry Johnson. I think if you don't live under a rock, you know who we're talking about.
I was going to get to his name next, but
yeah, he's very efficient. He does a great job of driving through contact. He's very coachable. He's come a long way since he arrived on campus, and he's been a joy to coach. And our guys, we've got high-level guys, and we've got guys that are confident in their abilities, and they are still amazed by some of the things he does in practice and in games. He's got an infectious attitude and easy to pull for, and our guys have done a great job screening for him and finding him in transition, and he's really playing to his strengths right now, and his confidence continues to grow.
It does seem like, especially that second group, which your second group averages 54 points a game off the bench. It's tops in the country.
We don't have a second group, Jim. That's a terrible word. I think Bonet's got a great picture for you. We've got 10 guys.
Okay, the guys that don't start.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
but it leads the country in that.
That's awesome, we're not surprised, and we could start a number of lineups. I don't think that Coach Armstrong went in this season with hey, we're going to stick with the same line. We hadn't talked about that at all. It's crazy how much other people talk about starting compared to the percentage that our team and our staff talk about starting. But understand that we need something to talk about, and our guys off the bench, I guess that's the way to refer to them, have done a great job of being prepared. to come into the game and then taking advantage of their opportunity. It's oftentimes that, we don't know who our best five are going to be each night out, and that's a blessing for a coach, and we're constantly trying to maybe manipulate the floor and try to figure out which matchups playing best together tonight.
That speaks for your depth.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We have a question, all right.
We got Mr. Butch back for another question.
No fudge, though.
Yeah, Coach. One of the greatest sayings we've ever had around here at McNeese is "Go to hell, USL," and they did it Friday night.
It's crazy, man. You could feel the energy in the arena. Obviously, our guys fed off our crowd. We're thankful that so many people showed up in yellow or in gold and blue, and we really got off to a good start on both ends of the floor. And I think that it was good for our guys. Coach had beat them up pretty good on a couple of days about rebounding, and I think we're ready to see another opponent and prove we've gotten better. And we couldn't ask for better effort out of our guys, and it was fun to be a part of.
After the break, we'll have more with Robbie Coker. We'll talk about the tournament specifically after this. We're back at PokeCast with Robbie Coker. I guess, Coach, one of the things that always gets me is how did you get to McNeese? What brought you to follow Bill Armstrong and a first-time coach?
I think the crowd here may not know the story. I think I've told a couple people.
Yeah.
But if you want to know how good a recruiter Bill Armstrong is, my wife was living 4 miles from her sister and 8 miles from her mother. And Bill called us and said, "Hey, you got till tomorrow at noon to let me know if you're in or not." And we went to bed to sleep on it, and we woke up the next morning. I was fixing a pot of coffee, and Melissa came down. She said, "Call Bill and tell her we're in." And I was like, "Are you kidding me? That easy?" And she's like, "Yeah, we got to do it. It's Bill. If we don't do it, we'll regret it the rest of our lives." So I called Bill, told him I was taking the job, and Heath will take great joy in this. He said, "I'm glad you're coming," and said 2 things. Get here as quick as you can and bring a jacket. And I thought he meant suit and tie. I was like, a jacket? Like, what are we doing? He's like, it is freezing in these offices.
Oh, he isn't kidding about that.
So I brought my puffer jacket, and I got there in 9 hours. And we hadn't looked back.
All right, we have a request from the town, and especially me, on this. If he goes to the Cayman Islands with you, there has to be a law that does not allow for a public display of him without a shirt on hitting the internet.
We may have beat ULL last week, but I'm not taking any shots at my boss. Sure.
That's all. Every time he goes, he's always on TV. He always finds his way on TV, right behind the bench, usually with popcorn in his hand. But it's the social media where he's on the beach and that's a little much for people here to take. That's my opinion anyway.
That's what everybody talks about this trip. It's a great trip. I was like, yes, we're going to see the meeting room and a gym. Like, I'm sure it's going to, maybe the meeting room overlooks the ocean, but 3 games in 3 days is a nightmare for a coach. And hopefully we'll play good enough that we can enjoy Wednesday morning before we fly out. That's usually the hope as a coach.
One thing about it is it's rare that you get a tournament or a mid like this, an MTE, where it's all 3 mid-majors that have potential to win their conference titles. This time you do. It's really a good kind of measuring stick for where you guys are and where you got to get to, right?
It's unbelievable. Like, you look at these teams, all three of these teams, and then you put us in, all four of us believe we're going to be in postseason. George Washington has a lot of guys back and has a great team. Middle Tennessee has a lot of guys back, won 20 games in Conference USA. And then Murray State brought in a whole new roster, playing really well right now. The only loss is at SMU. The other two teams are undefeated. Middle Tennessee's down 12 right now at Michigan. Not that I've checked my phone, Jim. But three great basketball teams, traditionally good basketball teams, good coaches. We can't ask for much more as far as seeing where we are. And then I challenge the guys today, like, unfortunately, guys, like, this is a blessing and a curse. You know, we could go 3-0, we could go 0-3. I believe we'll be in all three games, and this has a lot of emphasis that could really help us in March when you start looking at seeding.
Yeah, and one thing about it is you get to see with a game with like tonight, you're going to play both those teams, so you get to double scout that game.
No question. You know, Dusty's put together a phenomenal team at Michigan. Everybody thinks they'll be top 5 in the country throughout all season. May have a chance to be a number 1 seed and chase the NCAA championship.
McNeese has never lost at Michigan. You know, they're 1-0.
The last time that happened, a guy got fired that was on a legendary team.
Yeah, he did actually.
Yeah. So, no question, that's a fun trip, but that's late December. We're worried about George Washington right now.
But this tournament like this is, I hear a lot of things about you get to play the same level, you get to play 3 games right away, but you also get a time where being away from, you kind of can really institute the whole family atmosphere for a team that, you know, came together just recently, really.
Yeah, you know, I thought the California trip was a learning experience for us. Obviously, didn't go the way we wanted on the floor. It'd be interesting to see how we handle the travel this time. Obviously, going a day early should help us. Not as big a time difference. And then at the same time, you're playing in basically a high school gym. Like, this is going to be a bring your own guts kind of tournament. It's going to be basketball, strictly basketball. You know, there's not going to be a bunch of crowd, or you're going to have to generate your own energy. It'll be interesting to see how our guys handle it, and then a little toughness comes into play. You know, you play 3 games in 3 days of that caliber. That game 3 is going to be a rock fight, and the toughest team's going to win.
Yeah, but you got some depth, though, so that it'll be interesting to see how your depth plays out. And by the way, I don't want to tell you this, but you're going to be in some high school gyms in the Southland Conference, too, unfortunately. I don't want to say that, but then this is a big week for you because then you go right into league.
You know, the league situation, and you're right, like it's a very unique situation to go into league and then back out of league. Obviously, the league is built upon us all playing bye games to help fund their budgets, and I think this game we had to move for their sake because they had a chance to get a bye game that they had to take, so we were able to move the game. No question, we'll come back on Wednesday night, get here late, then we'll be at the Legacy about midnight. And then the next day we'll start preparing for, the biggest game of the year. Obviously, they have a great team and a road challenge, so it's a huge game to start league play for sure.
I want to go back a little bit to USL, ULL, however you want to call them. But one of the things that seemed to strike me is the defense really was locked down early. And that seemed that they're a pretty good defensive team. And they had you locked down for a while there too, but you still ended up with 88 points.
I don't remember them locking us down. Am I wrong about that, Heath? I don't ever remember that part of it.
It was 6-4 for a while.
I got you. We just missed some shots. Yeah, no question. Our defense was phenomenal. Led some crazy scoring opportunities. Like I said, it goes hand in hand. We want that ball to bounce off that rim and be in attack mode. Obviously, their program is built on toughness, built on defense, and I think our depth and the pace we played out really wore on them as the game went along and created a lot of scoring opportunities for us.
But that's a good indication as to what you're going to see in the league.
Yes.
For a Southland, that looked like a Southland team almost.
Yeah, that's obviously you know more about the Southland than I do. I'll start worrying about the Southland on I guess Tuesday night. But obviously their team has a roster built very familiar to several teams in our league, and we don't want to take anything from their program. I do think that our guys were really locked in and played really well, and we really got them maybe behind and took advantage of the situation.
A tournament like the Cayman Islands is interesting because you really don't have time to prep for the second game almost. A lot of it is done on the fly. A lot of it is adjustments. Does that make that kind of an adjustment thing, but it also kind of preps you for an NCAA tournament second round?
You'd have a day, obviously a little different. You'd have a day. It's almost like a conference tournament, obviously we only want to play 2 games in our conference tournament, but they'll be back-to-back nights. Very similar situation. We know who we're playing, which is a little different. Oftentimes in these tournaments, you have to prepare for 2 teams. So we know the order. Coach breaks down the scouting to 3 assistant coaches. So each one assistant is already working on Murray State, one assistant is already working on Middle Tennessee. So as soon as that game's over, we'll get back to the hotel, we'll get in the meeting room, and then we'll really dive into it and start our prep and what we can do to prepare the guys for the next day.
What did you guys work on most this week besides, I know rebounding everybody's talked about, but how much of it was focused on just what you guys do in yourselves?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we typically start working on an opponent 2 days out. So the last 2 days we've really worked on ourselves. As good as we played Friday night, like this is not the best version of this team. This team still has a long way to go to get better. Like we've got, this team can get a lot better. I think we're all proud of the talent we have and our effort, but this team is going to continue to get better. It certainly has a chance to be a lot better basketball team in January than we are in December.
Robbie Coker's been our second guest tonight on the PokeCast. When we come back, we're going to talk football with Kobe Ham.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you. We're back on PokeCast with Kobe Ham, senior running back. I guess you're a graduating student. You're a graduate student, senior?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Kobe, running back from McNeese State, who I guess you waited a while to get your career high, huh?
I did actually. Yes, sir.
127 yards against East Texas A&M, or as we like to call them here, Edom.
Edom, yep.
But I want to ask you this because you started at Navy or at Air Force. That's a completely different world with Reveille, with kind of. Then you went to a junior college. Now you finish up at McNeese. That's quite a unique journey, don't you think?
Sure, most definitely. Going from the Air Force Academy, where you got to go through boot camp, basic training. I went through basic training twice because I went to the prep school, and then I went through my freshman year. So I did 2 boot camps, shaved my head twice, and doing all that crazy stuff, and then having to do military school football. You learn how to really manage your time, and then going to JUCO, kind of being on your own, it was kind of a big culture shock for me, going from that to that. And then, I feel like it all really prepared me to be at McNeese, though, for sure.
So what's tougher, boot camp or training camp?
Boot camp. For sure, boot camp, for sure.
I'm sure they want you to say that too.
Oh, yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Okay, I got to ask you these questions because we're asking everybody. Your number one item you never want to see again in Thanksgiving.
Ooh, that's tough. I'm not a big salad guy. I never liked salad, so that's my thing. I'm not a greens guy.
The one thing you go to all the time.
Pumpkin pie, for sure pumpkin pie guy. That's me.
And when's it appropriate to put up holiday?
As soon as Halloween's over.
As soon as Halloween. We've got all three middle.
Absolutely. My family has Christmas decorations up a few weeks ago, actually. So we've been ready. We've been ready for it.
Kobe, first of all, you've had a not only a unique journey to get to McNeese, but really a unique journey at McNeese.
Right.
You're on a team that didn't win a game. Mm-hmm. You're on a team that went 6-6. Mm-hmm. And you're on another rebuilding team with a new coach. Mm-hmm. What are some of the unique things that happened during that time that you'll take out of this?
It's just going through adversity. I feel like that's the biggest thing, going from 0-11 to 6-6, then almost a whole new coaching staff. It shows us, the guys who've stayed, to learn how to fight through adversity and learn how to, grow stronger together within ourselves. That way we can push to our common goal of, getting to where we want to be.
What's it been like, though, to see kind of the transformation, to see where it is now?
Oh, it's really, really awesome when you actually take a step back and look where we were. I remember the team meeting when Coach V was announced, when he came and talked to us, kind of everybody was like, a lot of guys were, debating whether they should stay or whether they should leave, and to see, majority of the guys who stayed, we're all, glad that we did, so it's really cool to see.
People talk differently about different seasons, but you have one game left at Lamar at 3 o'clock on Saturday. If you win that game, you'll actually finish the league for the first time since 2019 500. Mm-hmm. You'll also be 5-5 in non-FCS game or FBS games. Right. Those are some significant achievements that kind of get lost in the whole numbers package, don't they?
Most definitely. I feel like you kind of get caught up in the numbers and the results, but when you really look at what we've done, I feel like we've had a really solid year for sure as a rebuild year, if you want to look at it like that.
And for you, in many ways, it's kind of been the same way as you got hurt.
Right.
You started, got hurt, then you came back, had the big couple of games. Mm-hmm. How do you feel now?
I feel phenomenal. Especially last year when I was coming off my surgeries, I was me, but I wasn't as good as I knew I could be. So I feel like, this past offseason, I've really been able to train the way I want to be, feeling like myself. So now I feel great. I feel phenomenal.
Do you guys think about the fact that you're really a couple of plays away in situations from having a really good year? Do you guys talk about that or think about that?
Most definitely. When you come back off, the next day for film, you look at those plays like, you wish you could have had those back. You look at, one run play. If, somebody would have blocked this guy, it would have been a touchdown. If I would have made the right read and, seen that hole over the backside, it would have been a touchdown. You always see that in football, and that's life though, and you just got to learn from it, and so that you can minimize those mistakes, so that way we can just, have a better season.
When you guys look at Lamar, they're the rival now.
For sure.
You have a chance to make a real sleepless night on Saturday night if you beat them.
Most definitely.
Because they're strictly on the bubble at that point in time. Is there motivation being the spoiler, or is it more about you guys wanting to finish strong for yourselves?
A little bit of both, to be honest. They're the rival, and they're having such a great season. We would love to have their season end with a loss against us. So it's motivation as a rival and as a to kind of kill their season. On a low note for them and a high note for us.
So you think about that?
Most definitely, for sure.
Especially after last year and how it ended and what they did to you at the end on the last play of the game.
Yep. We kind of want to get a little bit of revenge for that, for sure.
Do you think about that last play? That was kind of the last 10 minutes of that. Not the 10 minutes of the game, but the 10 minutes of actual time where we redid it down. We redid it down again.
Yep.
It's just a strange thing where you end up losing on a play that was untimed.
Right.
Yep.
And especially how the clock was working that game, and we tried not to think about it, to be honest. But now we kind of have to for this week, as a little sense of motivation.
It does give you motivation.
Absolutely, most definitely.
And also it's also one thing where you get one more chance to go out and set a career high again.
Yes, sir. Another opportunity. That's all it is.
This team is, you see the guys pop up like last week. All of a sudden, Matt McAllister came out of nowhere and had a huge day. We see guys getting their opportunity and doing the most with that. What does that kind of say about guys staying in the moment at least and not giving up on this year?
I feel like it's just a testimony to the hard work the guys put in. I feel like we're all ready, and that was just a prime example of when your number's called. Matt was ready for sure. And on that play, somebody else was supposed to get the ball, and they were like, "Hey, Matt, get this play." And so Matt stepped up and he scored 80-yard touchdown. So he was ready at all times. That's just a testimony to his hard work.
When we come back on PokeCast, we'll finish up with Kobe Ham and talk a little bit more about this week's game after this on PokeCast. We're back on PokeCast. Don't forget, next week we won't be here at Mr. Bill's for Thanksgiving. Also, you can watch, if you can't make it over to Beaumont, and Beaumont is lovely this time of year, you can watch the game right here at Mr. Bill's or listen to it on 92.9 The Lake. It will be played here. Women's basketball all next week, starting Saturday, will be on TV here as well. So that's on Flow College. Don't forget Flow College. Men's games are all also on Flow College. All right, Kobe, so we come up to the last game of the year. You had your last senior night. We assume that's everybody's last senior night.
Right.
In today's world, who knows? But what were your thoughts on that, kind of your feelings at the end of that? What do you think your feelings will be this Saturday?
Obviously it's unfortunate to come out with a loss. Disappointed, most definitely, but grateful at the same time, to have came out of the game healthy and to have, played and gave it my all regardless of the outcome, But with that being said, though, still got one more opportunity to leave out with a win, and still give it my all one more time for sure.
Do you guys think about the chance that this is the last time this group will be together and to kind of just cap it with a win? And
Absolutely.
What that would say?
Most definitely. Every team is, its own team, essentially. Every year you're going to get a new group of guys that come in and new group of guys that leave. So it's, it's a special moment. We have to, acknowledge that, we are, essentially a brotherhood, and that, it would be really great for us to come out with a win.
So now that you're getting ready to graduate, what do you want to do, and what are you graduating in, and what do you want to do from here?
Yeah, so I'm getting my master's in health and wellness promotion in kinesiology. I would love to, be a physical trainer, strength and conditioning coach, or even just a coach. I would love to stay close to the game as much as I can after trying for the next level. Got to do the pro day and, tryouts as much as I can, but yeah, that's the goal for sure.
Everybody talks about NFL and that, but there's other options to make money in pro football, both here and abroad. Do you guys talk about that and kind of get help in those areas that aren't known to most people?
Most definitely. Me and my dad were talking about it. UFL, there's a tryout the next day after the Lamar game in Houston at HCU. Just stuff like that. I've definitely looked into it, most definitely, and whatever the next steps are for me, I'm willing to take it, wherever that may be, UFL, CFL, NFL, anywhere.
The whole running back by committee thing, and then you get a quarterback that can run for 100 yards every other game or something. What did that do, and how did that work this year, and did you like it?
Oh, I love it. Like I mentioned before, it's special when you have 4 or 5 running backs who can all start, and then you have a quarterback who can essentially add another aspect to the game besides throwing the ball. It adds pressure to the defense, and it gives them more stuff that they need to worry about. And it even motivates me to block for Jake, or Devin, whoever may be in. It just adds more of a element of surprise to the game that we can have.
When you're blocking for Jake, are you kind of worried about him running over you?
No,
big guy.
Not at all. I mean, shoot, if he runs me over, as long as he scores, I'm good. So
that's a big kid.
Yeah, for sure, most definitely.
This team, do you see a good future? Do you see it taking the right steps? Do you see the program in the right direction now that you've been here and kind of know what it is and what you see from Viator in that? Do you think it's on the right track?
I believe it is, truly. A lot of the new guys, the freshmen, are starting to really play a lot and, gain their confidence. I know that's something that Coach V believes in, getting freshmen developed. And I believe that we're doing a great job in doing that. I believe that Coach V is doing a great job in doing that for those guys. And I feel like, next few years is going to be really great for those young guys.
A couple of years ago, that on a senior night, they had 4 seniors.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's where they were at. Mm-hmm. You have 16 this year. Mm-hmm. Lamar's going to have 31.
Wow. I didn't even know.
So you see the differences in the programs as it builds. Mm-hmm. What does that say when that many kids stick around for that long? And what do you see from the kids talking to them about kids that want to stay this year in this place because it's in the right direction? Do you talk much about that?
I feel like it's more so just a testimony to the coaching staff, the culture that they've built, and the brotherhood that the players have built amongst themselves. Because I believe that, like, if you don't want to leave a program, it's because of the people around you and the coaches that you have leading you. So I feel like that's just a testimony to Lamar's culture, and I believe that we're on the same direction as well with our team. So,
what do you think the legacy is of this team? People talked rebuilding, people talked about tough starts and turnarounds and that. What do you think this group kind of leaves this season with?
That's tough to say, especially because we still got one more. But so far, we're a extremely physical group. We aren't afraid to run the ball. We aren't afraid to go make plays on defense and stop the run, or make plays in the secondary. Extremely physical group who knows how to fight to the end. Because I know that's something that we struggled with in the past. Was finishing games, and I believe that we have gotten tremendously better with that. We're finishers and we're extremely physical.
You look at Lamar; they're 7th in the league, and I think offense, 5th in the league in defense. Mm-hmm. They have no numbers that stick out. Their leading running back, I think it would be 5th on yours as far as 35 yards a game. But they play really well as a team. Is that their biggest thing, that they don't really beat themselves? Mm-hmm. They don't turn the ball over. They don't make dumb penalties. Is that really their key?
Almost definitely. That was and that was in our scouting report for them. They don't really hurt themselves. They're a very sound group. But we have to find ways to make plays and kind of take whatever we can get and do whatever we can to get the win.
Did you miss getting up at 5 a.m. for reveille?
I feel like that's something that I've taken from the military is I can wake up extremely fast and get going. Like, if my alarm goes off, I'll get up within an instant. Like, it's not even hard for me at all.
Kobe Ham's been our guest here on PokeCast. A quick reminder, men's basketball starts the Cayman Islands Classic on Sunday against George Washington at 4 p.m. on Flow College. Women are at home against LSU Alexandria 1 o'clock on Saturday. Football, which you can watch from here at Mr. Bill's and also on 92.9 The Lake. They play at 3 o'clock at Lamar. A chance for them to finish 500 in the conference and go out with a good taste in their mouth. Also, all next week, the women's games will be on here at Mr. Bill's. So if you want to watch them, you can watch them here. Don't forget to check the McNeese site for the link if you're going to stay home and watch it. We'll see you in 2 weeks on PokeCast.
Wobble to the left, wobble to the right, wobble to the left, Wobble to the right. Now flap your wings with all your might. Turn around now, nice and slow. Now turn back. How slow can you go? Show your feathers. Let's go, go, go.